night to clear the streets. It was a job well done. Also, thumbs up to our local contractors for assisting in the effort. The project still continues. We're still cleaning up, and thumbs up to Mid-American Energy. Not everybody got their power on when they wanted it, but they did their best to get it on as soon as possible.
So I think that needs applause.
First time in 9 years, anyway, that we had the opportunity to kick off the emergency well-planned program, and I will share that it went off very, very well. I can't believe how the people responded, knew where to come, knew what to do, and I just can't believe how the program went overall. So thanks, John, for those fine comments. I will share that personally I have had, on behalf of all the employees, I have had not so many compliments, starting while the parade was still in force, and I just got a call this morning from a gentleman at Glidden, Iowa, that heard about this and wanted to compliment our employees. So thanks, John, and I agree 100%. Clark?
Yeah, no, I agree totally with what John said there. You know, I point out that there speaks very loudly to a quality of life.
Thank
For
you.
Lamar. So,
Thank you.
bet.
Rex?
I'm just proud to be a city councilman for this fine city.
Thank you.
Can't say more than what's been said. It's just really nice to live here. My 4 little grandkids, we were watching, they got scared all their life with that tin roof on our house and all that hail coming down, but it's amazing how this town always bounces back.
Good. Thank you very much. At this time, we're going to be going, I say we, the council members and the parties to be, are going to be going into a closed session for a few minutes, and that's going to take place up at the conference room up there. So if you people will just sit tight, we will be back out of the closed session in a very short time.
Motion to enter closed session under Iowa Code Section 21.5, where the disclosure or discussion of the purchase or sale of real estate would be a disadvantage of the city.
Which one was that?
C1.
Right off the bat.
Okay, thank you. Motion been made and second approving the sale of lot 21.
Going into closed session.
Going in full
All
session.
right. I'll tell you what,
We're gonna get it, we'll get it.
looks like a Sears and Roebuck catalog here. Motion to enter closed session under Iowa Code Section 21.5, where the disclosure of the discussion of the purchase of the sale or real estate would be to the disadvantage of the city. Could we have a roll call on that?
Rex Winkel?
Yes.
Knapp?
Yes.
Goodchild?
Yes.
Nelson?
Yes.
Motion carried. We're in closed session. We'll just move up to the conference room if it's okay with everybody.
Oh, is that what we're gonna do?
Yeah.
By the way, they don't make Sears catalogs.
We'll be right back, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, don't leave. It's gonna be
I don't anticipate this taking long, folks.
Depends on what level. I didn't need it. I drove up to Old Army. I don't know. It's just kind of left. I went out west. Yeah, I left. I got that. That's how I drove. 6 hours, 26 minutes. Yes, 34. Problem is, if you change the church, you shut the light in the tunnel, and it pisses me off. Click, it just went dark. Oh, so much for that. It's not the light.
That's cool.
Well, next week, they want me to take I'm going for Wednesday night. They're down to 5 finals. I'm gonna see, because that's one of those, jobs that you can do something. It's like, sometimes you that's not. Yes. You gotta go off. This week, it's some guy that's gonna come in. It's like here, you can do a little bit of that.
Yeah, that's true.
If he'd have left when he should have, 7 years ago, I would have. He wasn't ready to go, he could have, he just. Nothing to do with us. Yes. And finally, they kind of said, hey, you want to help us search for, figure out how to place you, who's ready to go? Yeah, it's the first case, and they come and tell you that. Makes it a lot easier walking down the aisle. No, it's scooters. Try to keep up. Sit on that, please. I'll take you.
Broke off the top part. It is one.
6 ones plastic.
It is open hours. Oh, yeah. Exactly what it is.
They're about that.
Years ago, I was perfect. I was thinking of being
You should probably say, you should probably go to my place, there's nothing wrong with your TV, your hair, it's not in my, closed session, everybody looking at a blue chair.
Sunday, but
What's that?
yeah. I just remember the day when we blew that guy out that building, sent 5 of those. Casey was at the shotgun line behind the pole. He pulled up and my old man said, all right, so listen, he says, be ready to drive this truck. Okay, he's working Casey. Shoot me, Casey. Yeah, I should tell him, you should have she likes it.
If it's over $150. She just likes the she's busy. She goes, you just have to have some goes on and try and do it.
This is what Jill said, she knows what she's gonna make, and she said she saves money that way because she doesn't have to.
Right, well, that's what I'm taking. Yes. That's so true. Which is why they have. Well, I think my grandson has everything.
That's right, she wanted, she was coming out with a quick haircut.
Yeah. Yeah. Right, right. So she really made sure the cheese and everything was the hot.
What bothered me, it takes me out of Walmart, is they were stuck in that place, so you have to look through it. That day I was going great on the way, so I was one shirt.
You know what I got for that?
I think I could buy one, I had one.
2 running waters and I don't cover it. Said like it's great. That was something.
I asked the owner, is they did. They know what they put the doctor in. Would you get rid of it?
I've got rid of that old expedition.
Oh,
That's stupid one. That's one of the big trips to fucking. Like it's. Yeah. I'm an ass.
Yeah, it was so street for days.
Oh.
It is nice. Oh, yeah. That is nice. Oh, that is nice.
Well, now I'm going to start. Depends on what you use. There's a lot of
It's
we've got a invitation for Sunday, Steve, Thursday, Friday, and I think I'm saying that.
You know, usually friendships, I've got a frisky. Find out. Yeah, it was 10, 12, I mean, I really have a frisky.
Yeah, how much it is self-esteem. It's much easier. He's retired. You have to do it. He knows that they're making out.
And those in those.
So that it's constant temperature.
It's really fan.
We've got this already started.
Yeah.
That was used. I found it for a bit.
The only thing bad about proving it around is the fact that they get really hot, don't want to come over there. Well, here's so is ours.
Oh, I know. Oh, my God. Twice, in a lower.
I said, no, I think I come in.
Twice.
I go, the average is not that smart. I called her, they showed up, and I said, well, no, Marie, I want to talk to something. We talked about the light bulb, the kids that don't know that are alive. So, yeah. It's a steal. Well, you can get different.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't know why.
Well, I think
it's
about 3 or 4 of them went down the whole thing. Light bar, part of it, or just part of it, go like, hey.
We have a little competition. Standards is more just for
Yeah.
special order 3.
Let's work for him for you.
Our things that are supposed to be done. Okay, but I didn't want to do it like.
Rear end
It's going through that in a second. I think you did first.
The outside, that was a dish project. You're trying to spread
So we put one in.
This one's a nice driver. It really does.
It doesn't have to, it can be plain like that. It doesn't have to- I don't let stress be. I don't let stress be.
Derek had three shovels drilled.
I was gonna say, he's probably doing the Grecian thing like that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
That was funny, you know, when he did the Grecian.
oh, you do
He put a
it.
hole in one side, got
Way up in
pretty much
front of
some
our
great freewall coming through. Next day, he had a barrel.
Yes. It's great. Well, the air conditioning is awesome.
Yeah.
You know, our house is so low, that's 27 years ago. No, it's, you know, we have less room. If you figure out the for which one? This is just our house in 1957. There's nothing else.
That must be about.
Gravel road.
brochure, so I called it.
Look right across the field. And that house, Kitty Corner on 12th Central. 12th and Central. We have a state road. Anyway.
Thanks, Clark. Thanks. Hey, no problem. Joe, when I get to that, I'm gonna...
Make a motion to come out of closed session.
Second. Motion made and seconded to come out of closed session. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thanks a lot for your patience, folks. Moving on to the consent items. Today, we've got 9 of them. All items listed on the consent agenda will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion on those items unless a request is made prior to the time the council votes on the motion. First one is approval of the June 7, 2016 regular meeting minutes. Number 2 is a list of bills for the period ending 6/17/16. Number 3 is a monthly financial statement for May 2016. Number 4 is the appointment. Number 5 is the renewal of the liquor and wine license at Archie's. Number 6 is a resolution gaming cigarette permits. Number 7 is a non-bargaining pool of the funds, fiscal year 17. Number 8 is the fire and ambulance personnel salary adjustments for fiscal year 2017. And number 9 is the inter-transfer resolution. Is there any one of these items, since you've had to look over, that anyone wants to pull any of them? If there are questions on them?
Motion to approve consent items 1 through 9 with reference for resolution numbers 1622 and 1623.
Where are we at here?
Second.
Motion made and second to approve all the consent items from 1 through 9. All those in favor? No, I got a roll call on that.
Rexlinko?
Yes.
Goodchild?
Yes.
Nelson?
Yes.
Knapp?
Yes.
Moving on to the action items. And the first one is number 1 is the approval of the sale of Lot 21 Westmar 2nd Edition. Attached is a letter agreement and plat from the Sitzman Real Estate team.
No, E1. It's E1. E1.
Excuse me. Approval of the sale of Lot 21 Westmar 2nd Edition. In November 2005, the city sold Lot 21 of the Westmar 2nd Edition to Doug and Karen Carlson, and the city reserved the right of first refusal to purchase the property back. The Carlsons are proposing to sell said lot to Dan and Lori Rexwinkle and asking the city to approve the sale subject to the retention of the right of first refusal on behalf of the city. Attached is a copy of the original deed and plat showing Lot 21. And we went into closed session, and Joe, I'm going to ask you to share what was said.
Well,
the council members discussed who might have a conflict of interest in this. They also discussed whether or not we should allow the sale upon the retention of a future right of first refusal. And then finally discussed whether to allow construction on said lot, which in the previous sale had been restricted to 5 years. And so it's my understanding now that we still have 3 council members who are able to vote on this, and I'll turn it over to them.
Okay, I'd entertain a motion.
Motion approving the sale of lot number 21, Westmar Second Edition, subject to the retention of rights of first refusal on behalf of the city, and to allow construction on lot 21.
Is there a
Future-
second?
Maybe future construction. Yeah.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, motion been made and second approving the sale of lot 21, Westmar Second Edition, subject to the retention of right of first refusal on behalf of the city and allow future construction. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose?
Let the record show that I abstained.
Thank you, John. John abstained. Motion carried. Thank you, Dan, and good luck to you, and Craig, if he's still here. But we appreciate your interest, and good luck on your new venture. Okay, moving on to... Moving on to number 2 under the action items, the city real estate sales agreement. Attached is a letter, agreement, and platform from the Sitzman Real Estate Team requesting the extension of their sales agreement for 3 years. The current agreement expired March 31st, 2016. Staff recommended, the administration recommends continuing with the Sitzman Real Estate Team, subject to the inclusion on MLS and same provisions as the LBIC agreement. The financial impact is additional revenues from sale of assets. Any questions regarding that? Many council members?
Motion approving listing agreement with Lance Sitzman Real Estate Team for the city properties, requiring inclusion on the MLS and same provisions for the LBIC agreement.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made, second, approving the listing agreement with the Sitzman Real Estate Team for city properties and requiring inclusion on MLS and same provisions as LBIC agreement. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Moving on to the E3, which is the Library Board of Trustees request. The Lamarche Public Library Board of Trustees was asked by city administration to evaluate their current location and create a prioritized list of needs and projects to update the building. The list has been completed. The list contains exterior items such as sidewalk repair, additional handicap parking, minor landscaping, and overall condition of the exterior of the building. The interior items on the list include carpet replacement, shelving, paint, and overall updated look of the interior. City administration has already put into motion a number of the exterior improvements. At their June 13th meeting, the Board of Trustees approved the idea of hiring a consultant to provide direction on the interior improvements. They approved spending up to $8,000 out of their trust and agency fund to pay for the consultant. The Board of Trustees is asking the council for assistance, both monetarily and administratively, to secure a consultant. The recommendation has been the administration requests additional time to evaluate the prioritized list provided by the library board and to develop a plan of action. And Shirley, I see you're here today. Share with us what your thoughts are or where you're headed on this.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you for the time today. We have been looking at this list, I think it goes back to November, talking with the building committee, and I want to also say thank you to several of our board members who are in attendance today. And in November of 2015, we looked at a list of things that were concerns with the building. And I brought that over to my quarterly report. And then back in the last day of March, Scott and Jason and Scott Knipe and Brad Eppin came in, and we walked through the building and and the grounds and looked at different issues that are there. And like you mentioned, several of the things are in progress. We've got markings outside for handicap ramps, detectable warnings, places for signs to go, all those different types of things. So some of those exterior ones are being worked on. One of our big issues is ADA compliance on the inside with the reach and the space in between shelves. And so one of the things that we could do to try to work on that is try to reduce the amount in the collection. So we have been looking through our usage reports, running different statistical analysis on that collection. We have been taking out books that we feel, due to age or not being used, we could remove from the collection. We're done with that part of it. There's a few sections of shelves that we can still take out, but that is, that's going to be an ongoing thing, because we're trying to house, when the building was built, there was 25,000 items in the building. Now there's 40,000. Well, the footprint hasn't changed, so it is overcrowded. And so we're kind of looking at, okay, what can we do with the footprint we have right now to enhance the appearance, give it an updated, cared-for look in the building. I do have with me Tim LaBrush he's representing Cheryl Wells today. She couldn't make it. I'm going to hand out a letter. He's going to read that letter for the council.
Okay, Tim?
Hello, this is on behalf of Cheryl Wells. It says, Dear City Council, I could not make it to the meeting today, but I wanted to be there to show my support and also tell you that I am very excited to work with Shirley and help to revitalize the children's section in the library and then see where we go from there. Our library is in desperate need of updating and someday a new library. I will do what I can to help make this happen, and our community deserves it. If we are going to attract new people to Lamar's from other big cities, we need this to become a reality, and a library represents what we need to bring to our growing city and its families, and that is a continuous learning. We need a beautiful learning center that is for everyone. I will be anxious to hear how the meeting went and what is next for this project. Sincerely, Cheryl Wells.
Thank you.
Do you have any questions for me at this time?
You might want to let them know, Shirley, what you're hoping this consultant is going to help you with. And
Sure.
what will-
Sure. I do think it's important to note that it's not just, what color should we paint? We know we need new carpet. Holes in the carpet, I don't need a consultant to come in and say, oh, you need new carpet, and that we need to paint. But what I'm looking for is, we have, Cheryl Wells has made an overture to help revitalize the children's collection in that area. Many of the things she said that she sees there are the same things when she had a son attending story time. And so it needs to be updated, and the shelves are really worn and look quite battered. So, to go through this with a comprehensive approach, let's say we know we need carpet, we want to redo some things. What is the best approach we can do to move forward? So what we're looking for from a consultant is somebody who can come in and say, these are the major areas, and we've identified most of them, and in order to do them, the first thing you'll want to do is probably, he'll identify the priority, he or she, and that will cost X amount of money. And then to add on to that, your next step could be this, X, Y, Z. So and also get us in contact with, help spec the RFPs for vendors, because I don't want to buy, I get catalogs every day, like every department head, about new equipment and new shelves, and they look great. But what I don't know is which of those have the capacity to last for a long time. And our goal is, whatever we purchase now will last us long enough, and we hope that we could take to a new or expanded building and just add to it. So we need to know somebody who's familiar with that market, who knows which standards and which companies have a long track record that have open stock materials that can be added to. And so that we can do it in a comprehensive, thought-out plan, that we don't buy a few of these, now they're out of stock, now we have to buy a few of these, and we're kind of back to the same mismatch that we have right now.
So Shirley, are you looking, you said you approved spending $8,000 out of your agency trust fund. Are you looking for a supplement or payment above any costs above $8,000, or are you looking for a share of the $8,000?
We were looking for a share of $8,000. When I asked my colleagues, they were saying their consultants run from between $6,500 to $10,000. I think that the board has hoping that you will join us in this effort, and so that was the number that we felt kind of comfortable with. If the RFPs would come back and be much more than that, I think we would need to take a look and say, if they're 10,000, that might be a different discussion than if they're 20. That, I don't know that I would personally feel comfortable saying, we're going to spend that much on a fee and still have to buy all the shelving and the carpet and everything else. That, I think, we'd have to revise our plan at that point.
Would it be maybe more appropriate that at this stage, we ask city administration for assistance for an RFP, see what the dollars actually will cost from a consultant, and then discuss again how the commitments would be made?
So that would be fine with me. I think, just starting this process and letting it out and seeing where that comes back. And I was basing it off of, various ones, I guess, trying to think of the different ones that have gotten back to me, the different librarians. 6,500 was low. Most of them were high at were up at 10,000, but there was in between. So, yes. That would.
Scott, could we provide that administrative assistance to get that RFP and scope what we're going to do, and then see what comes back from the consultants, and then we discuss financial commitments?
Yes.
Shirley, do you feel that spending $8,000 for an individual that, is going to tell you how to do it or what to do or make suggestions, does that make sense in regard to what you need to do? Or do you have people on your board or yourself or that could take a better route at less money? You see what I mean?
Yes, absolutely. And I anticipate that question. And that is, there's a couple answers to that. One of them is the staff time that it takes. If that's the route we're going to do, then we probably need to allocate some money over into staff salaries, because then I would not be able to be at the desk as much as I have been during summer reading. Then the other part of it is, for every librarian I asked, did you think this money was well spent? They all said absolute best money they ever spent, is in fact the phrase that they often came back with, because they felt they were going forward to negotiations with vendors with some information, and they knew what to ask for, they knew what the specs were, what they needed. We're looking at carpet, could be about and this is a ballpark, $25,000.
How much?
Man, 25. Yes, for that building. I'd hate to pick the wrong design. And that I guess I would really, yes, I would imagine the building committee and the full board would finalize anything. We'd talk with the administration, but those could be expensive mistakes. And I don't feel that I, at this point, am that qualified to do it. I like to pick out things, I like to spend money, but I don't want to make a mistake at that price level.
Well, you're a very qualified individual as far as managing that place, and it looks like you're qualified to do a lot of things.
Well, I do appreciate that very much. And I think part of it is when, working with Scott, and we developed this list, and, knowing what the justification is and what the, you know, what the guidelines are by ADA and other things, that gives us just that much more that the consultant wouldn't be billing us for, I feel. I would say, we already know this, we know our population, we know our usage patterns, take up from there.
I think there's a question that we've got to do something on the ADA, Scott, and bring the place, you know, up to qualifications. And we know what we got to do on that, you know.
Where's it failing on ADA? You got automatic openers?
The width of the
Spacing.
rows, shelves, and that.
Oh, in
shelves.
between.
In between the rows is not wide enough, because we got 40,000 pieces versus 20,000 pieces in there. But my question, and maybe against what John was saying, is, let's just say it's 10 grand. Why don't we say we're gonna do half, and the library's gotta fund half, up to 10 grand, and if it's more than 10 grand, then you gotta come back to us. Because we're not gonna know how to evaluate these proposals. These guys gotta evaluate the proposals.
But we're still gonna need city assistance to do.
I want
to
the
do an
city
RFP.
assistant, but I'm saying, I'm willing as a city councilman to say, I'm gonna put in 5 grand,
I would also.
and I don't want it to come back unless you guys got problems with what comes back in an RFP. That way, it's got a chance to move ahead quicker to get to a person you select, so that they can do this work, so that we're not wasting another year before we start even replacing the carpet. That's my,
Was that a motion?
well, I'm trying to make a motion, but I don't know how to. I
The only
guess,
question that I've got on the whole deal is I'm 100% for dressing up the library, working with the library, but if we've got 9,000 square feet, no matter what a consultant says, we still have 9,000 square feet. And if we need wider rows, that means we have less shelving. So when you start talking figures like $25,000 for the carpet, or 10,000, or 20,000, I would rather look at a bigger picture. I'm gonna support the library, I'm gonna do what I can do for the library, but if we're gonna spend $30,000 and still have the majority of our issues, I'm not so sure I'm in favor of it. I would maybe like to step back, take a breath, take 3 months and say, how can we reevaluate the big picture? I'll support wherever the majority's gonna go, I will. I think splitting some costs with you guys, it's our building, your tenants. We're required by the state to have you. So I'm 100% for supporting you. I want to be very careful that we're not throwing money that could be better spent in a year or two, as long as we've got some goals. And, you know, you have a private citizen stepping up, hopefully there'll be a few others that are taking a sincere, you know, I don't want to turn my face on that, but I'm for kind of slowing up and getting a bigger picture, and then hiring somebody and saying, what can we do with our bigger picture? Not the picture we've got, if that makes sense.
And not to look like I'm tag teaming with Rex either, but I think if you use a consultant and they're going to cite the deficiencies, I think that report will then help you if you're looking for a new piece of real estate to put a library in. If they say you need this much shelving and you only got this much, or you need this much for the children's section, that kind of thing, if they cite the deficiencies, I think that should be of assistance in the future to help us find another building. Don't we have that report?
I was gonna say, did they not have a consultant here?
but that was on a whole library.
Yeah, that was a 2009 space needs space needs assessment. We know we need more space, but we're in this footprint, and I anticipate we will be unless there was a groundbreaking I didn't hear about, then I'm guessing we will be there for another 2 to 3 years, and that's with my rose-colored glasses. I don't know, Scott, how you feel about that. But I'm just saying, I know that it's, we've got a police station that needs to be worked on, and, there's a number of other projects I know. So knowing that we're going to be there in the next 2 calendar years for sure, holes in the carpet, peeling paint, I think we need to take a look at what we can do when.
Went through the deal on, I'm not an architect lover, I think, or engineer lover. I think that's pretty clear. Okay, so we went through it with the police. I was duly impressed with how the space was laid out, and then coming up with a recommendation. I wasn't sure about the recommendation, but they still sold me on the recommendation. I think that if we threw $5 grand with their money at somebody that would tell us the right kind of shelves, the company that's in business forever and all this kind of stuff. I don't think we're gonna waste money by doing it in our current location if we do eventually move. I just don't wanna keep having her come back and forth every 2 weeks or 4 months and then nothing happened. I want to push it onto the library board. I want to say, hey, city council, we gave you $5,000, you got some money. With administrative help, we're going to sit there and we're going to get the RFP. You guys are going to pick the firm. You guys know more about library shelves than I do. And let's figure out what the study says. That's what I want.
As Shirley mentioned, a group of us staff did meet over at the library, and we combed the entire property and kind of at least verbalized what we thought might be a priority list. And then to add to that, we said, well, there's, as long as we're gonna own it and operate and have the doors open, we've got to do some things. ADA being first and foremost on that list. But we just barely scratched the surface, and so the reason for our recommendation in your agenda was to really get our arms wrapped around the list that they did provide, and I do have that, and to see what we can do in-house versus what needs to go outside of city staff. So the 3 items, I believe it is, Jason, that we kind of already kind of pulled the trigger on. We felt that we could get those accomplished such that one is a safety issue, one is or 2 of them are ADA issues. And like I say, that was just our high-level prioritization. So the reason I was asking for additional time, with everything going on, I just have not had time to really dive into this. So I'm a little in fear that we could spend the 10,000 on something that we have no money in the budget to implement. And to me, we've got to implement those items that keep us out of court, ADA-wise and safety-wise. But I just trying to explain myself.
It would only be 5,000 though. It would only be 5,000.
Yeah, but if they spend money from their trust and
That's what I'm
agency,
saying.
they don't have that money either. So that's what Scott's saying.
But, yeah, but a consultant study would give them an opportunity to prioritize things that need to be done also.
I just don't know if I'm gonna see Scott or administrative time on the agenda for the next 2 or 3 months either. And I just don't want it to have to come back to the council in July or August to vote on giving $5,000, because that's not what we do. We're not very good at that. So I was just hoping that we could throw $5,000 out there and say, okay, when you guys go over this on what you're planning to do to hire somebody or do something, you gotta come back to us. That's all I was doing. So that at least we had a little bit of money to potentially do some of these things, and to hire somebody that's smarter than, hopefully smarter than all of us in the room.
So you're still talking the RFP process?
Well, I think it's an RFP, but I'm not sure that, and maybe I'm wrong, but doesn't Simcoe have some people that do things like this too, and aren't we still a member of them?
I don't know that they have library experience. I don't know who Simcoe has on staff, but I don't know if they have library background.
We might want to check that out, and the reason I say that is because the city already belongs to Simcoe,
Right.
and we might be able to save some money
Well,
for you.
and I'm not saying Simcoe has somebody, but I'm saying Simcoe knows somebody that
Right.
has somebody that
Right.
has somebody.
And I think too, if we
You know,
do that
right?
RFP, we should get it out to them, and I think what would come back is probably that list of projects, and I can easily see, Scott saying, oh, this one, we know Brad's crew can do. So let's cross that off of their list of things to do, that we would have to let out.
I just was trying to put a little bit of money out there, that you guys choose wisely how to spend it, and do the RFP process. That's all I was doing. So I authorize the city.
Anybody else have any questions on this?
Only one comment. I'm kind of in favor of tabling this for a month, so we can check with Simcoe And the things that have been discussed that city staff may have, none of the council people have seen that, to my knowledge, and give us at least a few weeks, we could study some of that material, and we could check out with SIPCO and redo this again at the next council
I
meeting.
am totally fine with tabling it for 30 days, if in fact it is carved out, that the time gets set aside. And time is, you have storms come up and things take over. But no, but I agree, let's not keep kicking the can down the
Yeah.
road.
I agree.
Let's put a deadline on the can.
Yeah.
I'm with him, let's help you out.
That's all I'm worried
Let's
about.
put it on hold for a month, and let's check into Simcoe, and let's make sure that we're telling Scott, you make time. You make time to work on this project, and then come back with a
Not
recommendation.
that he makes time to make a call to get somebody to work on.
Okay.
He's not a library consultant either.
That's fine, I'm just merely saying.
Well, I'm not picking on you, I'm just saying, that is not, you gotta make 2 or 3 phone calls. That's all you're required to do by this council.
He can't stay that
Yeah, I
quiet
think the key
and
is
be in a library.
council's not saying no.
No,
I think
that
we're
is the
totally
objective.
supporting the idea, we're just trying to figure out.
We just want to weigh the best way to go about doing it.
Well, we could do one step at a time, and the first step would be to do the RFP.
Yeah, I agree,
And that don't cost you nothing.
that's fine.
Right.
Yeah.
So we could do the RFP, and it'll, we gotta give them time to react, and therefore, it'll be about a month down the road, just receiving proposals based on that RFP.
Okay,
No,
And then we can make a decision
Yeah.
later, who's gonna
How we
pay,
financially.
what the fee's gonna be, and who's gonna pay for it.
sure.
But I think it needs to be clear to the library that we are not deaf ears up here.
Exactly.
Oh, no.
Exactly.
I think
That might not be well said, but that's what I'm saying. We're gonna get something done that has some report, that has some kind of prioritization, so we can try to get some of these things accomplished. That's the best I can say.
And in the meantime, it might be that we could take our payment in kind people, and do some of it, Shirley, as you mentioned.
Yeah, we gotta do some of the stuff. Has to be.
Well, to inform you, the ADA ramps on the sidewalks leading up to that building, it's out of your hands. Administratively, Jason and I are gonna take care of it.
Okay.
Secondly, there is for life safety standards, there is a door that sticks in the southwest corner. That door is getting replaced because of life safety standards. Elderly people and perhaps other people are tripping on the poor quality asphalt on the south side of the building. With the asphalters in town, we're gonna fix that. So we don't get into a liability issue. So it's stuff like that, guys, that we kind of administratively pulled off the list and said, we're gonna fix it.
So could I just ask for clarification that we will go ahead with the RFP and then we'll come back with those results?
Yeah.
Okay, just want to be
And we're
clear.
gonna share in the cost.
Okay.
We'll see where we're at up with the RFP and.
Okay,
And go from there.
all right,
We're open to sharing with cost.
Okay.
so,
okay.
Thank you, Shirley.
Thank you for your time today.
You betcha. Okay, moving on to the next action item is the Dogwood Second Edition. Preliminary plans are prepared by the city engineer, working with the PSS Incorporated for the Dogwood Second Edition utilities, which is i.e. sanitary sewer, water mains, and storm sewers. City engineer will present an overview of the project. The city engineer recommends approval by the council to proceed. The public hearing is, if it works, it will be set on July 5th, 2016. The bid letting on July 19th, 2016, 10 a.m. And a consideration of award on July 19th, 2016 at 12 p.m. Scott, do you want to share with us the overview of the project?
Since we lost all the trees this past weekend, I didn't kill more trees with printing you copies of this. I just got to think about
Smart.
that. I didn't have that as a game plan. We have a full set of plans for the utilities that you have agreed with Mr. Schuster to front, design it, oversee the construction of it and pay for it, and then with 50% reimbursement as lots are sold. So that's kind of the punchline. What's represented in this set of plans is all of the sanitary sewer system, all of the water system, and all of the storm sewer system. And so it's done according to your standards. Your standards are SUDAS design standards, and it would be under the SUDAS design specifications for the construction of those utilities. I have reviewed them, and I'm signing off as city engineer on this set of plans. Jason has prepared the DNR permits, and those are ready this week to go into DNR. This next step is what's before you today, is to set these dates and times so that we can properly get this advertised across the entire state of Iowa. Yes, we got that in the works. Entire state of Iowa, and to solicit contractors and solicit bids.
Is that agreeable with you, Joe, the way we did that?
I make a motion to establish July 5, 2016 at 12 p.m. for a public hearing on plan specifications, form of contract, an estimate of cost for Dogwood Second Edition city utilities, and establishing July 19, 2016 at 10 a.m. to receive and open bids, with said bids to be considered at the July 19, 2016 council meeting.
Is there a second?
So moved.
Motion been made and second to establish July 5th, 2016, 12 p.m. for a public hearing on plan specifications, form of contract, and estimated cost for the Dogwood Second Edition city utilities, and establishing July 19th, 2016 at 10 a.m. to receive and open bids, with said bids to be considered at the July 19th meeting, 2016. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Going on to number 5, we're going to scratch that today, I'm sorry. Should have announced that before. That one will be scratched. Number 6 is the energy efficiency improvements. Attached are 2 separate spreadsheets showing various energy efficiency improvements as identified by our consultant, Franklin Energy, and the City Energy Action Team. Recommendation was the Franklin Energy and the CEAT recommended council approval to proceed with the improvements and funding said improvements through a budget amendment fiscal year 17. The financial impact is the budget amendment in fiscal year 17. Questions or comments on that, Scott? Have you had any questions?
I just have the comment that I'm recommending it for a couple of reasons. A lot of this would be done in those venues that we've asked those department heads and/or consultants to really start looking for ways to save dollars. And by spending these upfront dollars, we can save utility costs, which, as you guys know, are monthly and annual expenses. So there's a fair amount of savings that can be taken advantage of by spending. When you aggregate this, you're in the low 50,000 range. You've got paybacks anywhere from 1.2 years to a maximum of 8.6 years. That's a pretty good payback. And the biggest ones are in the lower payback range, so I would certainly recommend it.
And I'm on the committee also, the city committee, and we've implemented a lot of projects already. Overall, it's gone very smoothly, and we're saving energy.
Hopefully this will be reflected at budget time when the budgets are recommended. The savings will be plugged into that so we can actually see the savings and not spend
The savings.
I'd make a motion approving the energy efficiency improvements as recommended.
Second.
Motion been made and second approving the energy efficiency improvements as recommended. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Moving on to discussion. John?
Really, Scott, do you have a schedule now for the start of the intersection of Central and Plymouth?
I do not.
No, I think we figured on August.
Okay.
We have not met with any contractor yet.
We've
We've
had
contacted
I've had some folks
contractors.
ask, and I know we didn't want to do it during ice cream days or.
No, I think the game plan is to contact contractors, which has already started. Get everybody at the intersection and explain everything all at once, and then they can give us a bid on it. And the plan was, we found that August was the least busy
After the fair.
month, so
Sounds good.
that's the
And
plan.
is the state involved in that too?
That has already been approved by the state.
Okay, that's why.
Yeah, we did figure between ice cream days and Fourth, and then Fourth and the fair, just not enough clear time between those events. So everybody felt that after fair, but before the Bluegrass Festival, there's almost 4 weeks there that we could take advantage of.
Now, don't interrupt my Bluegrass Festival.
No,
Okay. All right. Does that answer your question, John?
Yes. Thank you.
Anything else?
That's it.
Clark? Rex?
Nope. I'll pass, thank you.
Okay. City Administrator, you want to bring us up to date on anything?
just that 14th Avenue East is now paved. There's 2 inlet box outs that still need to be placed in there, but the basic 700-foot-long street is done, so that's good news. 12th Street got delayed, however, the barricades went up, and Vanderpool is anticipating starting that project now. They have been started, you've all seen it and experienced it down on Highway 75, and that's been really going slow. So we, between Gail and myself, we're trying to kind of put the prod, we need to speed it up. But it's at least started. They're all the way in front of the truck stop at this point, and they're, I think, getting prepared to go across 3rd.
And 12th Street will be in 2 phases, correct?
3
phases, excuse me.
3 phases. First Ave is 100% done with both retaining walls and all of the finish work, so that'll now be able to remain open during the course of the 12th Street project. That's all I have.
Jason?
I don't have anything, but Dave did.
Oh, okay. Excuse me.
Just a couple things. First, I want to thank Scott and the mayor and Jason and the support we got during the disaster the other night. And again, reiterate what John and Clark and all of you have said about the support of our private contractors, city staff. As the fire department, we're tasked with keeping that emergency plan up to date. Christy Collins is currently working on retyping the whole thing. We try to go through it every couple years and update employees and staff and things like that. And every time we do that and Christy's typing it, she can tell you, we look at how thick that Bible is and we think, wow, do we really need all this? Well, we need it, but it works. And so thanks to everybody for their support. Everybody did their job, did it well. We got lots of compliments. I had a couple from Urbandale say that would have shut our city down, let alone have a parade and things the next day. So thanks to everybody for that. The other thing I want to mention is 4th of July fireworks will be July 4th this year. I've had some questions on that because we moved it to the 5th last year. Actually, it was the biggest show we ever had last year and the most people showed up, but it was on the 5th because of having trouble getting a licensed shooter because of a weekend. They just run out quick. They go to bigger shows where they make a lot more money. But our fireworks this year will be July 4th around 10 p.m. At the fairgrounds again. That's on a Monday night. So we invite everybody to come out to that. And the city, of course, pays for that, puts that on every year. So it's a pretty good time for everybody to come out. And hopefully the weather will cooperate. Otherwise, it will be on July 5th if we get a storm the next night. Okay?
Thanks,
you.
Dave. Appreciate your efforts in all the organizational side. When we did get to the command center, you were well prepared and certainly give us all directions as to what to do next. Thank you. Okay, this will end our council meeting, and we will be going into closed session. So
Motion to enter closed session under Idaho Code 41-5 concerning